Damn, welcome back, Uno Night. And yes, if it wasn't obvious from my voice, I am ill. But then we move, right? So when it comes to Honglan, yes, I've already made a full pre-release analysis, including her subsequent rotations, breakdown of her skills, and all of that jazz, right? Including her possible team combinations and the actual numbers behind her kit. So if you're interested in that, please do look at that. The point of this video is to have realistic expectations for when Honglan releases, right? Because we have to keep an open mind when it comes to pulling the actual unit. Because the first thing we have to talk about is that she is not a main DPS unit. She does have a lot of AoE DPS and a good amount of multipliers, because again, she is a damage over time unit. Damage over time units have one of the highest multipliers in the game, with the attack to back it up, right? The attack stat. Again, with the problem of damage over time being it is heavily cleansable, so she cannot be your source of consistent damage, so just keep that in mind. Again, her multipliers are very good, but then there is a very bad caveat behind it, and the fact that it is cleansable, right? Which is very balanced, because I wouldn't want enemy damage over time to absolutely melt my team either, right? That's why I rock Talia, Prim, and Geo in all of my teams, right? Well, not together, but you get what I'm saying. So the things we're gonna have to discuss are the content available in the game where she will shine, her upcoming banners, this game's upcoming banners, how many dupes should you get, pros and cons, and maximizing realistic expectations, right? So if you're wondering when to use her, I will be making a character guide when she releases, so I could save some content for that video, right? So when it comes to content, first form of content we'll be talking about is Arena. She will be doing really well because of two things. She is very defensive and offensive with that evasion decrease, and defensive with the speed decrease of 14% and the mana reduction, which, guys, remember, ultimates are not available in Arena, so preventing the enemy from being able to use their main in the first place, along with preventing them from recharging mana quickly due to the speed decrease, is just very valuable, apart from having higher priority with your skills. So with a lot of the time when you'll have mirror matches, just having a Honglan in your team will make sure that your units will attack before the enemy, which could mean stunning the enemy first or even dealing the finishing blow to them, right? So very important to keep in mind the actual value of speed, okay? And just to explain the value of speed, I will be making a video on keepsake bonuses, right? So keep your eyes peeled for that. So when it comes to Labyrinth, okay, this is the part where I'm a bit iffy about, right? So she is decent, but then the thing with Labyrinth is that it's so easy. You just want to nuke the entire team, and you do not want to use Honglan's ult for that because it does not have enough multipliers. So she is decent in Labyrinth, but then use other units instead, because Labyrinth is already so easy. So for speedrunning, she'll just probably slow you down, except for the evasion decrease will actually help you maintain decent damage, right? So she does have value, but then at the same time, for struggling players, she will also help you, because again, very defensive and offensive at the same time. So I do see her doing very well in Labyrinth, but it's just so easy. Same thing for the other dungeon, Hall of Memories, where you are pushing higher CP deficits, because they hit like a truck in that. So the good thing about enemies hitting like a truck, Honglan can make sure they attack slower. So even though we do hit like a wet noodle, they won't be able to hit us back, right? Assuming we do get to nuke them in time. So when it comes to Eversoul's roadmap for the next 3 months, we are already halfway there. And we do have Mika and Siha coming out next week. But the thing is, I would probably skip on that, so that's why you're feeling good about pulling for Honglan now. When it comes to Erika, the thing with Erika is we already have another fairy supporter, Talia, so if you have her well built, it's fine if you skip her, to be honest. Now, honestly, I do not know her kit, but then unless she brings something super valuable to this game where she is like on a tier of her own, like SSSS tier, right? Then I would probably, even I would skip on her, I'll be honest. I just think of it as a buffer, like a cooldown banner, if that makes sense. And I don't even like her design. I'll still be making an analysis on her. a very in-depth one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Then we do have Aki, which you could save up for in time if you want her, if you pull for Honglan now and all in, especially if you have the monthly pack. If you're free to play, then things might change up a little, and you might want to think about if you want to pull for Honglan or not, if you want Aki, because we do not know her kit yet, right? So when it comes to the feature of Beast faction in general, we are getting a lot, and you could just see it from in-game. There are so many units that look like they're, Beast girls, right? Such as Lute. She's like that blue-green hair girl, and she's literally just like a sheep, so I could literally sniff her being a tank, right? Okay, that sounded weird because she is Beast and I just said sniff, but you get what I mean by sniff, Alright, so when it comes to Dupes, she is a utility unit, right? Where she benefits most from her mana reduction, her passive speed decrease, evasion decrease, and her CC. So yes, she will benefit off your Dupes, I guess, because her damage multipliers are high because she is a damage overtime. Now yes, I did say this is a bad thing because it is cleansable, but in stages where they only have one of these cleansers, one of these 3 super cleansers, right? Geoprim and Talia, then honestly, if you time it right, you will be able to get at least more than half. Actually, no, you will be able to get all of the ticks of this damage over time, because it's only 8 seconds anyway for the most part, except for this one, which is 12 seconds. So if you time her active after the cleanse, and you will definitely get all ticks, and that's a lot of damage, bro. This is 390%. Again, for skill comparisons and similar skills, do check out my other video in case you haven't yet. I'm moving as if you've watched this already. So she is a unit that you will spend one of your 5 precious slots in your team for. So if you are pulling for her, invest in her properly. Okay, do not half-ass her. If not, then you could just skip. There's really no problem. You will pull her eventually if you need her, right? So she is a unit with utility, but also does damage. You could literally see it. All of her entire kit does damage except her passive, right? So why not make that damage decent, right? So moving forward, we are going to be talking about her pros and cons. With starting off her main, this is not a lot of damage, right? Especially on impact, but that's not her point. And at the very least, you get free damage on, this is every unit, by the way, right? And you apply freeze to everyone. And if they have no cleanse, you get a lot of damage from a unit who isn't even a DPS unit. 390%. This is a good amount of damage, because if you look over here, yes, I have plotted every single unit. This is damage, sorry, these are stats after artifacts, by the way. And what we know is that she is a caster. So this is the average stats of the caster. Again, attack 65k. Again, there are outliers such as Ayame who are bringing this high up. But then there's no point cleaning the data just because of the fact that we don't have enough units to actually clean data properly. It will just hurt our data. Defense, again, not that very high. HP, again, 550k. Crit rate 17%. It's okay, I guess. Crit damage is 80.71%, which is among, well, it is the highest. Accuracy is 7, 9.63 evasion, speed 100. So yes, all of these things you have to keep in mind, right? So these are some very good stats that we are going to get in her. High attack on high multipliers is always a good thing to have, right? So when it comes to maximizing realistic expectations from her, don't use Rebecca with her. It's just weird, alright? I'm not even going to... Actually, let me explain why. You're having an undead and a beast in your team. Alright, that's it. That's all I need to say. Yes, Rebecca does do increased damage over time, but then why would you build your entire team around Honglan? That is just strange to me, right? Anyways, man, so now the other thing is to actually have realistic expectations of her utility. Why? Because a lot of her utility, if you're not familiar, is actually locked out to higher levels. A lot of you free-to-play players will probably only have units at level 140, 160, struggling to even push 160. Problem with that is that her max utility is unlocked at 181 for the most part. Yes, there's 201 with the extra ult, but then you won't be ulting on her that much. You will sometimes, but not all the time. So this is literally a 33% increase. So if I show you here very quickly, see that you are missing out on a lot. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. You are missing out on a lot of mana reduction if you're not level 181, and you are missing out on -3 evasion and -2% speed from not being level 161. So these are her biggest power spikes. Keep in mind, she also has at 61 and 81, but then at level 81 you don't get an increase in your mana reduction, which is pretty much the backbone of her kit, because she does have so much mana reduction in her kit, right? Now she also gets it from her artifact, but then it's just them working hand in hand with each other. So the moment Honglan really starts to become active is at level 181 and level 161, so keep that in mind. You may want to avoid her when enemies have double cleanse. This is very rare, but then it's also possible when they have Prim and Talia in the same team, and it's just not gonna be fun, right? So yes, that is pretty much all for now. When it comes to her sub-skill comparisons, similarities, do check out the other video. And for when to use her, that will be in my future character guide. So if that video was helpful for you, please do consider subscribing and join the Discord, because I join the voice channel often and I'll be streaming my summons there. So it's been Uno Night, and I'll see you in the next one.